Ger, you're going to Aintree on Saturday, and I presume it's your first ride in the National.
Yeah, it's my first ride in the actual National, but I rode in the Beecher Chase there a couple of months ago for Mouse Morris, so I've been around the National course before, but this has been my first ride in the actual Aintree National now.
And will the experience of having been round the course before, will that be helpful?
Oh, it'll be a massive help, yeah. There is an element of surprise when you're first around it. First time I rode around it, they say they're big, but they are big, and there's a good drop on the far side of them, so at least I have that behind me that I know what I'm expecting around there, so it's a big help. Yeah, so it's a massive help being around there before.
And it's not as if, and I said this to Gavin, it's not as if you're going with a no-hoper. You have a good chance.
Yeah, we've a right good chance. He's holding his form really well. He's solid, real solid form. Like, you know, each run he's ran to his merits, and he's ran very, very well. He was just unlucky in the Welsh National to come against the Gold Cup horse. You know, he was only beaten a length and a half at the end of it, and it was 15 lengths back to the third horse. So if you take that out of it, with Native River going and finishing third in the Gold Cup, you'd have to say if he puts his best foot forward, he's going there with a right good chance. He's a pure staying horse, and the triple definitely help him. Jumps brilliant, so definitely going there with a lively chance.
And good Meath connections like yourself from Ardcath as a Ger here locally, and a screen owner in Jimmy Swan.
Yeah, it's a real Meath. It's a real Meath connection here altogether. Me being only down the road from Gavin, and it's great to get a ride for Gavin and go over there and ride for a local trainer and for local horses as well. So it's it'll be a meaningful time anyway.
Big day, yeah, big day for the yard. He's going there with a live chance. He's jumps brilliant. He's been around the track. He finished 8th in it in 2014. Those fences really light him up. We schooled him the other day over a couple of them in the Curragh, and he jumped brilliant. Like, they really light him up, and he stays so well. The big problem, big thing with him is he lacks a gear, and in the early part of the race, will he be able to lie up? That's the big thing, and if he does, he definitely has a big chance. If he's has any kind of a posse going out on the second circuit, he'll have a proper chance, I think.
And you had a win in Cork with him last year, which was a big race as well.
Yeah, won the Cork National. Went on from there, went to the Welsh National and finished second to Native River. He took Native River out of it. He was a very good winner, but obviously Native River, very classy horse. Went on to the Gold Cup and ran a very creditable race. We've had a good season with him, I suppose, and he had a good run over hurdles the last day. Just lacking a gear, caught for pace down the hill in Thurles, but please God he goes there with a good chance.
And there's a lot of local connections involved with the running of the horse, like owned locally and a local jockey on him as well.
Yeah, it's great. It's a complete, all within a kind of a 5 mile radius. It's great now. It's a great buzz around the parish. If you go into the shop or the pub or wherever you go, he's all the talk at the minute.
And of course the local owner being Jimmy Swan, and you're training nearly in the shadows of where Jimmy Swan lives, and then Ger Fox from Ardcath is also the other local connection.
Yeah, sure. Jimmy, he's a lifetime owning horses, and it's great for everyone. Jimmy's he's totally lit up with the whole thing. I think there's about 20 of them travelling over to Aintree. It's great. And
look, just you've mentioned Aintree there now. Like, when will you travel to Aintree with the horse?
I haven't looked at the long range forecast, but I have to be careful with the boats. If there was rough weather coming, we'd want to be going early in the week just to make sure. But all going well, if the forecast is good, we'll probably just go on Thursday. Travel on Thursday there at lunchtime. And
you know the routine at Aintree at this stage. I mean, you've had a big winner at Aintree in the fairly recent past with Ger's Girl.
Yeah, and look, I've been over there several times. The first year I went was Bobby Joe at the Carberries, and that was another local to here as well, I suppose. So it's it's great to be going there.
And do such things as tactics come into play in a race of that length, or is it just a matter of trying to stay in the race as long as you can?
Yeah, look at it. It's helter skelter for over the first 2 or 3, and that's you kind of have to try and lie up and get a posse. And after that, it's just ride a race and try and stay out of trouble as best you can. But look at it's a bit of a lottery, and at least look if we have our ticket.
And I suppose also, like you mentioned lottery there, it is perhaps maybe a coincidence, a good omen, bad omen, whatever you like, but it's 50 years this year since the famous Finehaven victory, and indeed that was a horse that was trained locally enough here at one stage by Tom Draper.
Yeah, so I didn't realise it. 50 years, yeah. I can't remember that one, you might.
But I suppose the quality of the race has improved a lot since Finehaven plodded his way around and went from last to first.
Yeah, it's turned into look, it's probably more a handicap now than a lottery, particularly since they lowered the fence. You know, it's the handicap really does come into play, where before it was more about jumping and getting around. It has changed.
And just finally then to finish up, like training the horses isn't the only demand on your services. Like you're kept busy keeping shoes on them as well.
Yeah, I've shot a Grand National winner, Silver Birch. Yeah, look, I do all Gordon Elliott's shoeing and among other people, but we're busy anyway.
And right, well, finally, then you just mentioned Gordon Elliott, and just to mention, you've had 3 winners in March, and none of them in Ireland this year. Like, following Gordon's path of raiding the courses in England.
Well, yeah, sure. Look at keep the horses in the worst company and yourself in the best. Yeah, and I'm sure, please God, we can keep up the trend and go there next week and get a winner.